Darling and Grit, everyone. If you're new here, I'm Ashley, and I would like to introduce you to our new ducklings. We have 5 jumbo Pekins and 5 silver appleyards. We did get a male drake for 4 hens for each breed, and they traveled all the way from Metzer Farms in California up the West Coast, specifically here to Washington State, and they all made it. We had some very chilly weather too. We had weather that was like dipping down into the 20s, lower 20s to be exact, and they made it through. I was so surprised. So they were shipped priority mail, and we got a email saying that they went out on Wednesday afternoon, and then we received them on Friday morning, which was really nice. I was a little bit worried. The UPS delivery tracker, it was telling us that they weren't going to be here till Saturday, and I was really worried about that. I was like, they're gonna die. But they survived, and they are 4 days old now, and they're all super healthy. As you can see, they're behind me hanging out, doing little duckling things, eating and drinking and pooping, running around, doing their puddle stomp parade dance as they run around in circles in their brooder. But I just wanted to share the type of brooder that we have. We've used this brooder once before. We had chickens in this, I think it was 2 years ago. This time we're using it for our little ducklings. It's a big brooder. I think it's actually sold on Amazon as a for rabbits, but you can use it for any animal. It doesn't come with a bottom, so you have to make sure that you either create a bottom or you can put it in something to have a hard bottom. We just used a tarp because the ducklings are really messy, and we can just sanitize this after we're done using it for them. We just added some pine shavings, and we have just the standard water and the feeder, and then we have some chick grit in there for them. Ducklings need chick grit too. Helps them digest their food and things like that. And I found this little plastic, I think it's for like the inside of your truck or like your car. I found it at Grocery Outlet, and I was like, ooh, that will work. I'll put the ducklings water on that, and that will help keep down the water mess that they create when they're drinking their water. Now, they're not ready for baths yet. They have to be about a week old before we can start giving them their first baths, and it can only be for just a few minutes. And then hopefully we can create a space for them outside in our barn or in our well house, because ducks are messy. They poop a lot and they start to stink, especially when they start to create those oils and things like that on their feathers. As their true feathers start to come in, they smell bad, and having them inside your home can be problematic. I can't even say it. Problematic. There you go. So, but right now they're little and they're small and they're very fragile. Even though that they were hardy enough to make it, we still want to make sure that we take extra care of them for the first few weeks of their lives. Let me give you an idea of what they're doing. They're so cute. You can see the difference between the colors. So the little yellow ones with the black stripes on their heads and the black bottom, or the little tails, they are the silver appleyards, and then the big yellow ones are the jumbo Pekins. And the way that we can tell our drakes, the male ducks, from the hens, the female ducks, there's a little band around their leg. Metzer Farms added those so we were able to identify them or set them apart. And we're going to have to take those off, and we can mark them with a marker, a non-toxic marker to be exact, to help us determine them for the future. But otherwise, as they start to age, you're going to be able to tell them apart. The hens, they make a quack, a very loud quack, and the male drakes, they make a rasp. And you can tell them apart usually a little bit after 16 weeks of age when they start to really become mature. And you'll definitely know those drakes. They definitely have a little curled tail sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't mature until a little bit later, but then they have that rasp. Look how cute they are. Oops, somebody just fell over down there. So you can see what we have in here. We have their water, which we're gonna have to fill that up. We just cleaned out their brooder. We took out all of the shavings, and then we put down new ones. And then they have their little feeder right here. And that little bowl is their grit, their chick grit, so they need that too. And then we have their giant heat plate. That heat plate is so nice. I've got to tell you, we had a smaller one, and we were able to keep about 4 or 6 ducks under it. But as they started to get bigger, it just was way too small. So it was a little bit difficult. You could see them all sitting under it, and their butts would just be hanging out. So I went ahead and purchased the bigger one. It was actually quite affordable too. I believe I got that one for just under $40. So when they first came out, they were expensive. They were like $60 and above, but now they're much, much more affordable, and you can get bigger ones for a better price. And then the little mat in there, I got that from Grocery Outlet. And just help with the mess. And then I'll just show you, we're using the Mana Pro Chick Grit. Let's see here, the Crafted with Probiotics. And then Metzer Farms sent us their Vitamin Waterfowl Boost. This is now going to become available at Tractor Supply, I believe. So they're sending this out, which is cool because this is good stuff, and we use this in their water. So for that little water right there, you only can use like a little half of a scoop. There's a scoop that's added or included with it, and you can use half of it, but you can use a whole scoop in a 1 gallon water. But their little water is very small, which they'll need to upgrade very soon. And then we just have their duckling waterfowl food. They have to have 20% protein, and the niacin has to be the correct amount. So this is their food. You can crush it. Most ducklings need it crushed, but these guys are so big, and I only crushed half of it, and they've been eating it just fine. So, but it is recommended that you crush their food for them, especially within the first couple of days as they're getting used to eating it. And I just keep this. We have a 50-pound bag of this out in the barn in a big galvanized trash can, and we just take it out there and refill it when we need to. Look at you guys. If you see them run away from me, they're still trying to get used to all of our movements. That's why we like this giant brooder here, because they can see us. And ducks are a prey animal, so for them to be kind of skittish is very normal for them. But I like this because they can see us and they can get used to us. They can hear us. One time we raised ducklings, we had them in like a big plastic Rubbermaid bin, and every time we went to go peer at them or check on them, they would like look up and they would just be so scared. Now when we come in and we see these guys, they can see us right through there, so they already know and can hear us and anticipate when we're coming, so they're not as likely to freak out. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Depends on how busy they're doing little duckling things, I guess. But yeah, they do really well, and there's lots of room for them to run around. Ducks love to run. I don't think people talk about that a lot, but they love to just gather together and run like a little herd, and they dance. They go in circles and they flap, and they just have a good old time, and they stay busy. So, oh, there you go. You guys gonna run? Need something spooks them or They decide to get like super hyper after they're done eating or drinking water. I know, I see you. I see you too. The children really want to name them. It's going to be a little bit difficult at this point to name them. It's kind of hard to tell them apart. Some are like, you know, quite bigger than the others. But as they start to mature, then you're going to be able to start to tell them apart a little bit. I wouldn't say like a stranger could, but when you're with your farm animals, you begin to be able to tell them apart based on like their personality or just like certain markings or certain ways that they behave and things like that. So you guys are messy. Yeah? You listening? I love it when they put their little eye to the sky and they stare at you. It's so cute. Always judging. Always looking. Hello. Hello. Now, mostly all of these items we sourced on Amazon, so we will share affiliate links for each item, specifically like the brooder box and the feeder and waters and then the heat plate, and then we also found the chick grit on Amazon as well. So if you have any tips or tricks on how to raise waterfowl, definitely put those down in the comment section below, and I hope you enjoyed these videos. We're very excited as well, and I'll see you guys at the next one.